Okay, so now I'm going to show you hat start to finish in crocheting. So you can see that I started with my circle, just like if you watched the beginning your hat, how to start it. I have already done my chain, 4 chains, and connected that to make a circle. Then I did my first row, which is 8 half double crochets into that initial ring. Then I did my second row, which is 2 half double crochets into each of the stitches before. So I had 8 in this initial row, and then in my next row I have 16 because I do 2 in every one. So now let's just take a look at our directions for a second, okay? So you can understand how to read them, okay? I have these written out in Schoology for you, so you can also look at this. Okay, so chain 4, join to form a circle. I did that, okay? Chain 1, I always chain 1 at the beginning of every row. Remember, your joining is just a slip stitch, so you just stick the hook in and bring it through. I'll show you that in a second. All right, so my second row, I did this as well. Chain 1, 8 half double crochets into the ring. Join with a slip stitch. Now I'm here. Okay, ch-1. Okay, that is chain. Okay, everything is always abbreviated when you start reading patterns. 2 HDC, that's half double crochet. All right, so you're going to do 2 of them into each, 2 of them into each. This is the row that I just did, okay? So actually I'm here. Chain 1, you notice the asterisks. 2 half double crochets in the first half double crochet. Then 1 half double crochet in the next. There's my asterisk, repeat around. So I'm going to go back to that and repeat that. So I'm going to do 2 in one stitch, then in the next stitch I'm going to do 1. So if you look here, I have it written out so it's a little bit easier. So it's 2 in the first stitch, 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and you repeat that. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm at that point. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do 2 half doubles. Remember, I wrap it around and then bring it through all 3, and then I'm going to do 1 in the next hole. And then I'm going to go back to 2 in that hole. Then I go to the next one. 1 and 2. So I'm repeating that whole series around. So I do 1 in this hole, 2 in the next one, 1 in the next one, 2 in the next one. And you can kind of like, if you get confused, you can kind of like look at it. So like, here's my 2, there's 1, so I know that this one needs to be a 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you don't want to, the reason why we start to space out the 2 is because if you just did 2 stitches and everything all the way around, you would just have a big flat kind of a piece, and we want it to go out gradually. Okay, so here's my last double and 1 more. Okay, so now I'm at that beginning point and I have to join this. So I'm going to find my first beginning chain, grab, pull my yarn through, and continue. All right, so there's my next round. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to continue to increase. I'm going to be here, chain 1, 2 half double crochets in the first half double crochet, then 1 in the next one, in the next 2 stitches. So it's going to be 2, 1, 1, 2. So I'm going to do 2 in the first one, 1 in the next one, 1 in the next one. Then I'm going to go back and repeat 2, 1, and 1. So it looks like this, if you want to think about it this way. 2 in the first one, 1, 1, then 2 again. Okay? Then after that, I'm going to do chain 1, 2 half double in the first half double, then I do 1 in the next, 1 in the next 3. Repeat around. So it's going to be 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. And I continue that until I get to a point where I'm probably going to have 5 individual stitches in the middle of my doubles. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to do those and then I'll be back. Okay, so I did 3 more rows since we left, okay? And the last one that I just did was 2 in the first stitch, then 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 in the next one. So I had 4 individual ones in between each and increase. An increase, of course, is when you have 2 stitches in the same hole. And you could see right there, there's an increase. So actually each of these points are your increases because that's where it gets a little bit bigger. Okay, so when you're doing an adult size hat, you want it to be about 5 inches in diameter before you start to go 1 stitch in every hole. Okay, so that's where I'm at. If it's for a child, you can go a little smaller. If you an adult man, and you want it to be a little bigger, you can do 1 more increase row. That would be 2 in the first one, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual ones, and then 2 in the next one. So it would be one size bigger. Okay, but you can kind of judge that. Some people crochet tighter than others, so it will make the hat smaller. All right, so I'm going to join this on my slip stitch. Okay, so that is my the top of my hat. So now I kind of like this size, so I want to start to make it come down on the sides. So now I'm going to continue with the same stitch. I chain 1, but now I'm going to just do 1 in every hole. I'm not increasing anymore. You call it working even. Even meaning I'm doing 1 in each hole, and I'm just doing my same half double crochet all the way around. And if it looks fine and I don't want to make it any larger, then I'm just going to continue like this to make the sides of the hat. So right now I'm just doing 1 in every hole all the way around. And the great thing about crocheting is that if you make a mistake, you can just pull it out like I just did there. And then go back and start it again. Okay, so I'm going to continue this and do a couple rows and then bring it back so that you can see how it's progressing. Okay, so I just did 5 rows of 1 half double crochet in every stitch around. So I'm going to finish this row, and you can kind of see that the hat is starting to curl a little bit. So this is actually the right side, so I like to turn it like this now that it's starting to work. So you can see how the hat is starting to come into shape, and we finished our increase here, and then there's 5 rows down. So right now it's not much of a hat, so I have to continue that. So I probably have to go at least another 6 rows, and then we'll see where I'm at that point. Okay, but I'm still going to continue with 1 half double in each hole all the way around. Okay. Okay, so I have my hat done. From my last increase, I did 15 rows, just putting 1 stitch in every stitch going around, and you can see that I just finished by joining. So now I'm going to show you how to finish the hat. Okay, so what you do is you take your hook and you pull it really long like that. Okay, and then take your hook out. So this is creating a loop. Don't make it too short because it can unravel here. And then I'm going to take my scissor and I'm going to cut in the top of the loop. That will allow me to take the ball yarn, the yarn that's attached to my working yarn, and pull it out. So now I just have this tail here. I also have another tail on the inside that I'll deal with as well. That is from when I started, and then I have one at the end. So I need to get a needle, and I'm going to stitch this together. Okay, so any type of sewing needle that you can get the yarn into the hole will work. I'm sure that we could even make one if we had to, but you just need a big eye for your needle. This isn't real sharp or anything. This is made for this, so I'm going to put my yarn through there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my hat inside out. because anytime you want to, and this is good because you can see the difference between the inside and the outside. Anytime you want to weave this through, you want to do it so you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to kind of go in different directions and kind of stitch it through. I'm not going in really far. I'm doing like the stitch right next to the needle, but I can go any direction that I want. And it's a good idea to go in multiple directions because then you know it's not going to come out. If you just go in a straight line, sometimes it can unravel. But if you kind of go, see, I'm going in the opposite direction now and weave it through, that way you know that it's not going to come apart. So I'm just going to do a little bit more and then I'm going to cut this off. Okay. So, and I'm going through the middle of the stitch to make sure that it doesn't show on the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to just cut that off. And I'm going to go up to the end that I had from the starting point, and I'm going to weave that through as well. This one I like to go around in a circle here, so I like to just kind of go through that first circle that was created there and just kind of get it to go under there. And you have a little end to this, so you want to make sure that that doesn't get caught. So you want to pull that out and just pull it up a little bit more. So I just like to go around in this center circle a bunch of times, and that just makes it secure. And again, you're doing this so that it doesn't come undone. And these can go, this type of yarn can go into the laundry, so that's something that you have to think about if you're ever going to wash this hat, that you don't want the end to come undone. Alright, so we'll just go through one more time, and I'm just kind of shoving it through. And now I'm going to take my scissor, snip that off, and then here is my completed crocheted hat. Now, if you had something, if you learned a different stitch, you could do multiple stitches. This is just half double crochet the whole way. You can see how it increases out on the sides, and then right about here it starts to go straight down. All right, so in the next video I'm going to show you how to make a pom-pom so that you can put one on the top of the hat. Okay? All right, so good luck with that, and go for it.